The 90-day pause on Liberation Day tariffs will be ending on August 1st. Here's where things stand in the US's global trade war. Quick note before we get started. The format will be a little different today. The highly edited format of my previous 5-minute videos takes a really long time, and I cannot do that consistently. I am also concerned about copyright strikes which may come in the future due to my use of news clippings and licensed images. So for today, please enjoy some of my Overwatch gameplay. On May 8th, 2025, we got the first major update since Liberation Day tariffs were paused. The US and UK announced an agreement called the US-UK Economic Prosperity Deal, a non-legally binding deal to reduce tariffs on goods like automobiles, steel, and aluminum for the UK and allow greater market access for US agricultural products in the UK. On July 2nd, the US reached a deal with Vietnam to allow US goods to enter the country tariff-free, while Vietnam's exports to the US are tariffed at 20%. The US also plans to impose a 40% tariff on goods originating from other countries, mainly China, shipped through Vietnam. In the following weeks, the US announced deals with both Indonesia and the Philippines, granting free access for American goods in exchange for the threatened tariffs to be lowered to 19%. On July 22nd, the US announced it had reached a trade deal with Japan. As stated in the deal, Japanese exports to the US will receive a unified 15% tariff, down from the threatened 25%, including automobiles and their parts. Tariffs on steel and aluminum are excluded from the deal and will remain at 50%. Japan will increase its rice imports from the US by 75% and expand access for American beef, pork, wheat, soybeans, fertilizer, and sustainable aviation fuel. The deal also allows vehicles built to American safety standards to enter Japan without being subjected to additional Japanese safety tests. Japan will commit to provide $550 billion in investments, loans, and loan guarantees through government-backed institutions, targeting sectors like semiconductors, energy, critical materials, pharmaceuticals, shipbuilding, and the automotive industry. A week later, on July 27th, the US announced a new trade deal had been reached with the EU. As stated in the deal, most European exports to the US will receive a 15% tariff, down from the threatened 35%. Tariffs on steel and aluminum are excluded from the deal and will remain at 50%. The countries also agreed to 0-for-0 tariffs on aircraft parts, select chemicals, generic pharmaceuticals, semiconductor manufacturing equipment, certain agricultural goods, and critical raw materials. The EU pledged $750 billion in energy purchases from the US over 3 years. EU businesses committed to $600 billion in US investments over the same period and agreed to buy US military equipment with no specified amount. Critics argue the deal is asymmetrical. Europe absorbs new costs via higher tariffs, forced energy purchases, and investment pledges, while US industries gain duty-free access to the EU market with fewer reciprocal obligations. Some analysts warn it may increase consumer prices in the US and slow GDP growth in Europe by about 0.5%, given the higher effective tariff barriers across many goods. Trade talks with other countries like Taiwan and India are ongoing. American and Chinese officials are in talks to extend the tariff truce between the two countries for another 90 days, as neither side is willing to back down in the ongoing trade war that is engulfing the world. Subscribe for more daily briefs and comment which topic you would like to see next. Also, let me know what you think about this new format. It's a lot more fun to make since I get to play video games for the footage, and it takes less time too, but it comes at the expense of me not being able to insert news clips to back up my statements, or images to visualize what I'm saying. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, bye.